Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome a first-timer to the show, one of the most beautiful voices on our playlist, Mr. Jon Reddick.
Oh, man. Thank you, Jayar.
Hey. It's when I come out of one of your songs, whether it's on our worship channel, we play a few of your songs on our worship channel, and I come out of it, you and Jonathan Trailer. Jonathan Trailer?
Yeah.
Jonathan?
Trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, man, I love Jonathan.
Both of you guys have these just beautiful voices where I come out of it and I go, ah. That's pretty.
Man. Jonathan's really, I love Jonathan, man. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
One of the biggest songs on our playlist this year is God Turned It Around, so we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Let me set up a couple things right out of the gate.
All right.
This cage of bingo balls is just a way for us to get to some random questions for you.
Okay.
So we'll spin that. And then you may notice the green screen behind us. This is a way, so when we share clips on socials of you and I chatting, it's just an interesting background. Now, we've had a recent development. Somebody is mowing the lawn outside of the studio here, and it's like horrible timing. And if they worked for us, we could go, hey, can you come back after he's left?
Yeah.
But they don't work for us, so they're just going to do what they're going to do.
Oh, man.
So I was going to give you a few options of a background between a city skyline or an auto body shop or a mall.
Oh, man.
But if you're okay with it, I wouldn't mind giving the image of the outside of this place.
I love that. We should do that. That's what's up.
So our buddy Alex, who changes the screen here, let me just, Alex, if you can do just anybody mowing or weed eating, that would be great. There we go. All right, we have no windows to see somebody mowing outside of here, but now we get kind of what it could look like
That's
here.
right. Yeah, because he's trimming the bushes now.
Yeah.
It's a good thing going on.
So while we're talking, this is just going to all be getting done.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, all right. Let's go into, actually, let's lead off with God Turn It Around, just a huge song. Obviously a message that resonates with so many people. This past year, I had a couple of life experience things that were like situations that were dead and buried. And so when people ask me, hey, when did that change, between marriage and addictions and things, it's like, when did that change? I'm like, I don't know. I came to the end of me where all the strength I had to fix the situation, I would call it a failure. I had nothing left. I could not fix it. I was time of death, dead and buried kind of a deal. But my story now has God attached to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
So that he would receive the glory. Can you walk me up, God Turn It Around, just kind of where the song came from before I play it?
Man, the song came from a moment that I was having actually right after a conversation with my dad. And it's interesting. We were talking, we haven't really spent a lot of time on the phone in just all of our adult years. But this particular time, for some reason, we were on the phone for more than the 5 minutes that we spent, and I looked up, we were on the phone for like an hour. But what was happening was we were sharing stories, just life stories of just the journeys that we had walked, the things that we had walked through in life. And both of us were kind of brokenhearted at hearing what the other one had walked through. And God was just doing a healing kind of thing in those moments. And I remember just having tears of joy in my eyes as I hung up the phone. And I literally just looked up and I was like, God, you really do turn things around. And one of the things I love to do is, as I'm processing, I just kind of go and play the piano just as a way of just getting centered, or, whatever you'd like to call it, connecting with God. And I just remember having this feeling inside that I was so happy about what was happening. I had so much joy about this kind of rekindling moment, and that I wanted other people to be able to feel the same thing. And that's kind of where the lyrics were. I'm praying, God, come and turn this around, because I wanted other people to be able to experience the part of God that I was feeling right now, that actually takes a situation where he's a running father, right? Like you said, we're out there at the end of us. And that's when he does, like the father in the story, lifts up his robe and runs straight to us. And that's what he was doing for our relationship. And so I just started playing. I was playing for hours. I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours, and I just kept saying, God, turn it around. God, turn it. I remember saying it over and over and over again. And he is up to something. And then I got with a couple of friends, and then that's how we finished the song. And so, yeah, it came from there. Those friends, we had been writing songs in a way for our church, just trying to, we knew stories that people were going through. And so we were trying to write where God meets us in these moments.
Let's do a random question right here.
Okay.
I've got this bingo cage here.
Let's
so
go.
if you could spin that, and then
all right.
each little bingo ball correlates with a question on my sheet here.
All right, let's just one time around, huh? Oh. There we go.
There we go.
And I didn't do it.
All right, what do we got?
Let's see. In 44.
And 44. Okay. John, talk to me about fast food for 2 minutes. Your relationship with fast food, your go-tos. If calories were no issue, where would you be? Awkwardness of a drive-through. What's your...
Man, I go to the same place so many times that they know my name.
Oh, good.
Because I go through there. Like,
Yeah.
just that. So, Chick-fil-A, #1 bottled water.
Okay.
If there were no calories involved. But because I'm trying to do better,
Yeah.
#5 with the bottled water. So, I changed it.
Okay.
Fried chicken to grilled chicken.
Chick-fil-A almost feels like healthy fast food. I know it's not, but it feels like compared to Taco Bell or McDonald's, Chick-fil-A is like, let me choose a good.
Well, if I'm writing and it's 10 o'clock, Chick-fil-A's closed,
Yeah.
or 9 o'clock here, or wherever,
Yeah.
then Taco Bell.
See, Taco Bell is my weakness. Well, it was before my buddy Steve showed me a video of the meat they use. I've gone from my favorite thing to never touching it once he showed me a video of the cows
For
they use,
real?
and it healed me. that video of the meat they use, like the cows they use, I won't talk about it right now in case anybody's having an early dinner, but I was done forever because there's a good chance that maybe there's a decent cow they're using, but in my mind I'm picturing that they
Yeah.
use the cheaper throwaway cows, which leads to my delicious, cheese and beef and rice
man.
and all this stuff.
You're discipling me right now, man. I am.
But that was if I was swinging by and I just was in a place where I'm like, you know what, tomorrow I'll start right again, my life all over. I can throw down a good, like, it's wrong. If you're hitting $15 and you're in a car by yourself at Taco Bell, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I should not be spending $15 here.
Wait, what's your go-to at Taco Bell?
Oh man, just take a picture of the dollar menu, and I do a Nacho Bell Grande
Really?
with just cheese and ground beef, and that's my appetizer. And then that's like, oh, okay, this is good, but it's not enough food. And then I go to the Doritos Locos.
Yeah,
And
it's my daughter's favorite.
I could throw down probably 15 if they weren't $2 each.
Really?
But I had one moment in Florida where there was a thunderstorm nearby, and my son was playing soccer down the street. And so I'm like, let me go get Taco Bell. And I got about $10 worth of food. And a thunderstorm hit, knocked the power out to the Taco Bell. And I'm in the drive-thru in between where you order and where you pick up. Already feeling bad that, $10 and I'm in a car by myself. I have to make it look like I'm picking up for the team. But then when the power came back on, they're like, hey, we can't charge your credit card because it's going to take about 5 minutes for our computer to reboot. So the person behind you ordered about $30 worth of food that's... because they can't get it to them because they're behind me, they're like, this is all going to go bad while we wait for this computer to... So they're like, here, just take it and go. Oh. So I'm sitting there in a parking lot with $40 worth of the heaviest bags of Taco Bell you could imagine. And this is full confession. I did my best. Because when something's free, and you're already cheating, you're already going through $10, and I'm like... let me see what they ordered. And I'm like, this is gluttony is a sin. And that was a sinful night for me.
Oh man.
But it was the combination of cheap, delicious fast food and free that collided in one magical Florida thunderstorm night. Hey,
I hear you. I hear you.
Now you feeling better about Chick-fil-A?
Oh man, I feel.
And you're ordering water with your meal, so you're already good.
But that's because my favorite one is the Chick-fil-A lemonade.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, that takes me out, man. It's like I'm a sugar addict, and that thing.
Yeah.
That thing is,
Right.
it's too good. So I'm like, guy, you got to help me. I got to get that bottle of water, man.
God, turn this around. In this drive-through, let me turn around.
Yo, baby.
Sorry. You're a Memphis guy who now lives in kind of the Nashville area. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got to, by the way, because there were landscapers just outside of our building, John has chosen just mowing and stuff going on in the background behind us. People who click on this clip are going to be like, why the, well, that's what's going on outside. So we brought that inside.
Yeah.
Let's go into a new song right now. What would you like all 15 of my listeners to hear? What new song of yours? You just came out with an album this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's a sampling you'd like us to hear? Let me turn down the music real quick so everybody can just hear that there is landscaping happening on the other side of the wall. They're tearing it up out there.
They are.
So
wait, what is he doing? What would you guess he's doing right now?
That's Weed Eater, I think, right? Or is that the blower?
That might. Oh, maybe it's a blower, but it sounds like he's chopping something. It's like a small mower, like a saw. So maybe
like
he's edging. Yeah.
Oh man, perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's the loudest of the bunch. The blower is pretty loud too.
Yeah, but that means it's the end when there's a blower. So
that's true.
let's hope for it.
Yeah.
Man, on the record, the album that we just released this year, there's one song where it talks about the power of his name, and it's a song I got a chance to write with Nathan Knuckles and Christy Knuckles, and some of my best friends. Like, I love them with all my heart, man. And Nathan comes in one day, he's like, "Hey man, this song, what do you think if we bring one more person in? How'd you feel about Matt Redman writing on it?" And I was like, is that a question? Is that a real question?
It's like somebody on the mainstream say, "Hey, we got Bono available." Just like insert an A-lister in the worship world.
Right.
You want Matt Redman?
So he was, man. It was great doing that, and he sung it with me and everything like that. So it was a huge honor to be able to just even sit in the room with him. And then there's a song that I've been working on this year that I kind of tipped my hat to one of my favorite artists, but it really talks about it. I'll let a lot of it be a surprise, but the main concept behind it is the fact that no matter where we are in life, we are not doing it by ourselves. We are not traveling through life by ourselves. We're not journeying alone. And I think especially after crisis hits the world, from 2020 till now, sometimes we forget, and we forget that we're not navigating through these situations by ourselves. But God is with us. So,
will you please? We'll end on one more random question in just a little bit. But
right.
This was one thing I have. Radio friends. We share audio and interviews sometimes. And you told a story on my friend's station that I'm like, whenever I have Jon in, I've got to ask him to tell this story. Will you please tell the story of the bridge in San Francisco where you were chasing the supermoon?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Let's see. So long story short, I found out that the supermoon was going to be its biggest. I had already been looking for it while we were here, but found out that while I was going to be in California on tour, like on a Hits Deep tour, the moon would be as big as that it's ever been. Well, that it's been in this while there. So San Francisco though, man, I was in Sacramento, so I was like, it won't. There's no way for me to get out there before we can have to go to the next city. But God just started orchestrating all these different things that didn't seem like they would happen, and I find myself 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Like I met up with my cousins who lived in San Francisco, and then I drove down to the bridge, and I get ready to cross over. The funny thing is, there are 2 people out here at the Golden Gate Bridge at 4 a.m. when it's in complete darkness, and it's me and this other guy, And so His name, I find out later, his name is Ricky. And so there's a fog everywhere. So we're kind of let down because we're like, there's no way we'll see this moon. And then the guard says, hey, if you cross the bridge on the other side, it goes up and it'll probably be over the fog. And so he was like, I can give you a ride though, because it'll take you like 5 days to walk over there. Yeah. so he takes us over there in this paddy wagon. And I'm laughing because I'm in this paddy wagon and with this stranger in the back of this thing. It's just the most awkward moment. At 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. And he starts showing me these pictures. He's been painting. I mean, he's been taking pictures. And I love to paint. So I was trying to find like this beautiful, I always wanted this picture of my own that I could actually paint the bridge to. So I'm like, I'll have this picture. I don't have to, look, in some magazine, it'll be like a real picture. We get on the other side and we start walking. The moon star is kind of ducking behind mountain cliffs. So we keep having to walk up and around. Before I know it, now we're really just walking around these mountain ridges trying to get a good picture because the moon is ducking fast. It's setting fast. It's moving fast. And as we start walking back, we start having this conversation. And Ricky starts telling me some things. Now, I grew up in South Memphis, so just to give you, to frame the picture, Memphis is a wonderful place to visit, and there are some parts of Memphis that are hard to live in growing up. And so I came from some rough places, and so I've seen a lot of things in life. Yeah. And so there are not a lot of things that scare me. So, but Ricky was talking about some things that kind of scared me.
So he was from San Francisco. Got it.
No, well, he started talking about how he'd been fighting demons and he was getting things. He was like casting things away with sage and fire, and he was clairvoyant. While he's saying these things, we are walking on this mountain ridge where the side of the street is not a sidewalk, but the drop off down to the water, like off the mountain. And I'm like, God, all I could think about were the pigs in the Bible. I was like, God, am I going to make it off this bridge? So, man.
Nobody's going to find me.
Nobody, because nobody's out there. Like, nobody's going to find me.
Nobody's looking for new goatee artists at that point.
They're like, man, where's John today? John is always off on some adventure. Yeah. Man, as we started walking, he was telling me all these things that were scaring the crap out of me. And I just remember praying, like, God, just watch over me. And as we really got into it, we started walking across the bridge, and he said, he just started crying, weeping. He was like, when I came to the bridge this morning, I decided that I was going to throw my camera over, and then he said he was going to jump. And he said, I don't know what it is about what you've been telling me about God and the stories that we've been sharing, but I don't want to jump anymore. And man, I looked at him. I put my arm on his shoulder. I said, "Man, you're not jumping today, bro." And we walked the rest of that bridge. And now every year, this has been 4 or 5 years now. Every year on that same day in November, he messages me and lets me know how he's doing and tells me what's going on in his life. And he called me Clarence. I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, what is Clarence? And then
it's a wonderful life.
Yes. I was like, oh man, I'm far from Clarence, but I appreciate the sentiment.
It's illegal to commit suicide around here. Well, it's illegal where I come from too.
Man. But yeah, for me, it was a moment in my life where I knew that God could do it for us. I didn't know if God would do it for us in those moments. So I became cynical about what I knew and what I believed about God, And so it was that same week, actually, the ironic thing was I'd never heard anybody talk to me about suicide. That same week, God bookends my 1 week with a guy in the beginning who told me that he was going to commit suicide, and then an Uber driver who had been a youth pastor but had gone through divorce and had a rocky thing, and he was about to do the same exact thing. On that same week, both of them are saying, you know what, I think I need to rethink. I'm going to rethink what I was thinking about in the beginning. So, and I remember walking away like, God, you know what, I'm sorry. You have your own time, and I need to just trust you to do things in your own time.
Let's hit one more random question from our...
All right, let's go.
All right, give it a good spin. This is the closest you're probably going to be to Wheel of, or what is it called? Price is Right.
Oh,
Where you
man.
get to spin the.
This is the closest.
Well, I mean,
you know
I
how
don't
long
know.
I've been watching. I wanted to spin that wheel since I was a kid.
I have no. So have I. I have no pull.
But this is cool though. This is cool.
I was always nervous that like I'm gonna be the first guy that, pull a little harder, buddy. You're not like.
Dude, I know. Doesn't it look heavy?
Could I give it a?
Man.
All right. So
All
here
right,
we go.
let's go.
This is the closest I can get you to that.
You know what? No, I'll take this, man. This is awesome.
Okay.
In 38.
And 38. John, how long could you make it in the wild if you got stranded? What's your plan of attack? Somehow you end up in the woods and like remote. Let's just picture California because that happens a lot out in like the Sierra Nevadas where people go hiking and then all of a sudden I saw this on a show where they're like, it's called I Should Be Dead, where they just simply go hiking and you're like, my hotel is just an hour down the way, but you get turned around up there and people were like a week later they die,
Yeah.
with that morbid thought. If you were out there based on skills you currently have, how long do you think you would make it? What's a plan of attack?
All right, so I'm going to channel my inner, Enneagram?
Yeah.
All right, I'm an Enneagram 4, so we're...
Hey,
Hey,
Well, I
Enneagram
mean,
4
I'm
the
an
world unite.
They call me an unhealthy 4, but go on.
So my first thought is I can be what's my man's name in Castaway where he had Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
I could at least stay out there for a long time because Enneagram 4s, we're kind of individuals. We're the weirdest.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least we're loners. We can be loners, but we don't want to be alone.
We'll write a great song, but we'll talk to volleyballs at the end
Yes,
of the day.
there you go. There you go. And then let's see. I met a guy in South Africa who owned these safaris, and he told me that he was face to face with a real lion in the wilderness one time, literally. And he has all these animals too, but he has lions. Yeah. But he said he came to face with a wild one, and he said he had no idea what to do, and the lion looked at him, and he just looked at it, and he said, I just started screaming like as loud as I could at the lion, like, ah! It sounds crazy. And then he said the lion backed off. Huh. He said, I think it's because God has made us. He literally said we are to rule, right? And take dominion of the world. And so the lions that get tamed and you bring them in over here, they understand that they're stronger than us. Right. But the first time a lion ever meets you, they have no idea what you are. So then if you're bold enough to scare them and they're not used to other things being scared of them. Yeah. So I'm take that with me. All right. That's all I got, though.
we still haven't discussed how you're going to find food and water yet, but we've covered that you're going to be fine from wildlife if you don't starve. So good. How would you do it making leaves? Okay.
I don't know if I'll make it, man.
Is your knowledge of the berry world up to par?
Yeah, of course. I don't know. If it looks like a blackberry, I'll eat. I don't know, man.
That's a great plan, John.
Yeah. I watched Man vs. Wild. I saw him squeeze. I've seen a lot of things on there.
Could you eat a bug? Like, how would you be bothered with grossness if you had to? Like, what would you do with some of the stuff you might have to do?
If I'm gonna, I can either eat a bug or I can be eaten by the bug in a few days because I'm dead. So I'll eat the bug.
Yeah, I'd be in trouble because I wouldn't trapping an animal to get some protein. I'd be in trouble. I'd be the king of berries.
I'd be a vegetarian for sure, man. I'm not down with. I'm not down with some of that, man.
I had a guy. I did some bit on the air a couple of years ago where I was like, "When's the time you ever got face to face with wildlife, like scary?" And a guy down in Naples messaged, and he said he was face to face with a cougar or a panther or something, and like face to face like your lion guy. And he, for some reason, pulled up the country of Wales, their national anthem, on his phone. I don't know why that was the first thing he pulled up, but he held up the Welsh. He asked Siri to play the Welsh national anthem, and he just played it, and the thing took off. So either it doesn't like music or whales. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
Or the European Union in general. I don't know what it was about the anthem. That's crazy. I was like, you're the only person on the planet that has that story of scaring off wildlife with the Welsh national anthem. So try it.
I'll try it.
If yelling doesn't work,
yes.
Siri. you know.
I'll
Play
try
the
that.
Welsh
I'll
saxophone.
try that. I'm gonna do it.
Hey, it's great finally having you in, loving the song and new songs as well, and
Thank you,
love
Jayar.
your heart as well. So great to finally get to meet you.
It's great to meet you. Thank you all for having me, man. It's been an honor.
The Thursday Afternoon Chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.